Good morning. Those joining me live, so glad you made it this Thanksgiving Monday. Welcome. And those of you that are going to join later on demand, amazing that you're showing up for yourself today. So my name is Paige. Definitely, probably most of you know that. We're going to land on our mat with Pilates today, a full body mat. With a little bit of focus, obviously. I mean, Pilates, when most people think of Pilates, they think of the core, the powerhouse. But we're going to focus on basically everything between the shoulders and the glutes. So from here to here. So with that said, we're going to just take a moment. You can land. Don't worry which direction your mat is, just facing the camera where you can see best. And don't even think about your posture. Just land with your feet underneath you. And just arrive. Just take a moment. You might have rushed to get here. You might have been, hi, Clayton, my mummy's just working. Okay, that's good. See you later. Love you. And so just a little body scan from the crown of your head down to the tips of your toes and fingers. Just saying hello to all that you are. The free flowing, kind of easy parts about yourself, and also those parts of you that don't feel so happy, not so free. Maybe it feels a little dense, tense, constricted. And we'll just take 3 deep breaths in together, in through the nose, out through the lips, pursing them like you're blowing through a straw. So that's a Pilates breath. So inhale through the nose and exhale. It's like you're blowing a feather with a little bit of being a little forceful about it. Inhale through the nose and exhale. Just kind of coming into the present moment one more time. And now thinking about our posture, we're going to take our 10 toes, lift them up towards the heavens, spread them wide like a fan, and then place them back down on the mat. Try to land your pelvis so it's over your ankles. Just take a guess. And then if you're like me, I tend to kind of hyperextend the knees a little bit. I bow my knees slightly. If you're like me, think of pulling the tops of your shins forward a little bit as you press your thigh bones back. So what that does is it locks in the knees, length with strength. Push the floor away from the center of your heels, your big toe ball, and your pinky toe ball. So those 3 points creating the 3 arches in our feet. Root those points to rise. Aim your tailbone down towards the back of your heels. I'm getting really sticky about posture for this morning, so why not? As the sides of your pelvis slide back, I want you to push your tailbone forward. So sides of your hips pull back as the tailbone pushes forward towards the pubic bone. Eyes of the hips shine forward. Take your rib cage, plant that over your pelvis, and try to lift all 4 sides of your ribs. You okay? Or are you just adjusting your camera? Good. As a cue, I used to do this to clients, but you can do it to yourself. It's to lift your ribs. So you're going to take your thumbs, hook your thumbs underneath your armpits, and kind of pick up your ribs off your waistline. So pick it up, even if your shoulders shrug, that's fine. So you're literally creating your own decompression in your spine. And then let your armpits go and relax the shoulder blades down the rib spine. Or not the ribs, the ribs. Open across your collarbones. It's almost like the collarbones are like laser beams shining to the sides of the room. And in terms of your head positioning, I know you can't see your earlobe, but a lot of us kind of, especially if we're breastfeeding or we're mothering or we're computering or, all the ings that cause that forward bending that we don't want, you want to pull the nose towards the back of your skull. Might even feel a little weird. A little stretch for the neck. And then lift the skull off the neck. So obviously we're not going to go all day walking around like this, but any time throughout the day that you can activate these points and lengthen through the spine, you're doing your posture a huge favor. So in Pilates, a lot of the movements are coming back to this. And some of them aren't, but this is when we're stabilizing, all right? This is neutral spine. So let's add some movement, shall we? We're going to inhale, sweep your arms up. And as you exhale, you're going to lift the back ribs up and over. You're going to reach up and over an imaginary barrel as you fold forward. And then push the floor away. Inhale, exhale, restack your spine to stand. We're going to repeat that a few times. Inhale, sweep the arms, push the floor away. Exhale, palms forward towards the back of the room as you lift up and over an imaginary kind of beach ball. And then inhale, exhale to stand. Keep going. Connect the breath to the movement. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale, up and over. And then push the floor away. So keeping the space between your thighs and your ribs as you come up. Beautiful. Keep going. Inhale, sweep. And exhale, up and over. So it's a little different than yoga where we hinge at the hips when we swan dive. So this is more about spinal flexion. Stretching the back line, shortening the front line of the spine. Pushing the floor away. Inhale, exhale to stand. 2 more times. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, up and over. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. And just go at the rhythm of your own breath. I like these in the morning, especially just as soon as I wake up. You can really feel all the creaks and awesome. And stand. Now we're going to add a back bend to this. So you're going to inhale, take the hands to the small of your back, press the palms in towards your sacrum, which is that triangular bone. Keep your hips here over your ankles. So we're bending the upper spine. Inhale, tip the heart forward and up. Open through the chest, maybe squeeze the inner elbows towards each other. And then exhale, back to stand. So we'll add it on. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, up and over. And then inhale, exhale to stand. Hands to the small of the back, big breath in, open the chest, squeeze the back body. And then exhale, release. Beautiful. We'll turn the palms forward. I'm going to do a standing 100 today with a nice straight spine. A lot of the time you just do the 100 on the back with a flexed neck, and sometimes that pisses people off, excuse my language. So you want to really root the feet, rise the spine, turn your palms forward for this one, and let's bring our fingers together just to be really picky. Why not? Open through the chest. The arms are being moved by your back, okay? Not the front, not the chest, but you're really not locking the elbow, but the elbows are straight, and you're going to inhale for 5 beats and exhale for 5 beats. So in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and X, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Each time you exhale, kind of cinching in the waist a little bit, keeping your face and jaw relaxed. You can think about just gently lifting the pelvic floor again. We don't want to create too much tension. Just a gentle lift like that, like 10%. Good. Minimal wavering in the body with an exception of the arms. Pumping, pumping, pumping. This is a great way to warm up in the winter. Each time you exhale, maybe grow the spine a little taller. Good. Next, exhale and rest. Good. Maybe you need to take your feet a little wider for some squats. Spread your toes, maybe turn the toes out a little bit. Inhale, sit your hips back as the arms float up. Good. Weights in the heel centers. Go as low as you can in good form, right? Nice straight spine. And then keep your arms up there as you straighten the legs and then lower the arms. So working on shoulder flexion. Inhale, sit the hips back. Inhale, stand, and exhale, lower. So we're going to go squat, stand, and lower. Here's your breathing. Inhale, inhale, exhale. So sniff, sniff, exhale. As I choke on my spit a little bit. Here we go. And those little puffs, they exercise the lungs. This is Ron Fletcher Pilates. If you're interested in the style that I'm doing, I kind of mix my Pilates up because I love all different kinds. And last one. And lower. Sweet. So, Charlie Chaplin your feet. I'm aging myself a little bit. Toes out, heels in. So I've Charlie Chaplin 3 times out. Think about a leg distance apart, ish. And the knees are going to pull back. Now, I have a big turnout. I can do the splits. I've always been like this. I have no idea why. But if your turnout is more here, that's fine. You want to be able to track your knees over the second and third toe. That's kind of goes So pull those knees back towards the pinky toes. Settle in and float the arms up. So that's your inhale. And then we'll exhale to stand. Inhale, sink, and exhale. When in doubt, just do your legs. If you find the coordination between hands and legs to be too much. So just stopping where the wrists are about level with the shoulder joint. Inhale, pull those knees back. Exhale, push with the heel centers. And we'll do one more, holding it up there. Good, let's raise the arms up. Side bend to your left. Try to frame your ears with your arms. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Good, inhale, center, and then stand on your exhale. So we'll do it one more time. Inhale, sink. Side bend to the right. Inhale, center. Side bend left. Inhale, center, and stand. We'll keep going with a few more rounds of these. In and left. Good. In and right. Inhale, center, and stand. So should be feeling it in the legs, getting a nice side bend stretch. I'm making it really choppy so you just see where the breath switches. I can't remember. To the left. Inhale all the way to the right. Exhale. Inhale, center, and stand. Very nice. Let's turn towards the right. Let's set our pelvis up. Pull your left hip forward, your left hip bone. Tuck your right sit bone under. What that does is the same thing. It's called force closure. So we get really strong in those hips and kind of protects the sacrum a little bit better. So you're going to sink. This is a lunge. And then exhale to stand. Inhale, sink. And X. In. And out. I'm going to keep it simple. Well, this is complex move for sure. Multi-joints happening here. Press up with that front heel center. In and out. We're going to play 2 more times here, and then we'll play with some tempo. And in. And hold it at the bottom. Here's your breathing, okay? Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. In, out, out. Down, up, down, up. Last 8, 7, 6, I can't count, 3, 2. Now, if you have anything left, hold it at the bottom. I want you to open your arms, palms up, like you want a big hug. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Open the chest. Tuck the tailbone under. Press the tailbone to the pubic bone. Lengthen out that lower back. Then exhale, hug a big tree. Hug your buddy. Thanksgiving. Pull your belly in. Pull your front ribs to the back. Tuck the tail. Belly in and up. And then repeat. Inhale, open. Think cat, cow standing. So this can actually be a little bit of abdominal work. As you shorten that front side. 2 more times. Yeah, I know it's a toughies. And open and close. Good. And then inhale, turn back to center. Walk your feet under and just take a little rest. Sorry for blowing in your ears there. Definitely got my heart rate up. Whew, just let your body breathe you. Truck blankets in the basement. That's Clayton's blanket. All right, you ready? Bend the knees. Charlie Chaplin, 1, 2, 3, toes out, heels in. So you're in what's called external rotation in those hips. Inhale, sink. We'll just do a few of these. Exhale to stand. Boy, it makes these seem really easy, doesn't it? So I love to use resistance bands in Pilates, those big, long kind of TheraBands. They're a great tool, and lots of squishy balls. Beautiful. Hold it at the bottom. We'll turn to the left. Let's square the pelvis first. So fronts of the hips want to shine to the short edge of your mat. Left sit bone tucks under. Right hip bone tips forward. Try to feel that out. So it's like the left side of your pelvis is tucking under, and the right side of your pelvis is trying to arch the back. So it's called force closure. One's going one way, one's going the other. Kind of see if you can feel that out. Now, obviously, when you bend your back knee, you got to move a little bit. So you're going to inhale, sink. Exhale, push with the front heel. So Pilates, we tend to move a little bit slower in some things than like, you know, my boost camp, which I do on Saturday mornings, which is more like circuit style. That might be a little bit faster, but it's really important, I believe, to master something slow before we start doing it fast. Neurologically, it makes sense. Muscularly as well. Here we go with the pulses. Here's the quickness. In, out, out. So all the way down, just a quarter of the way up. Hang in there. Take a rest whenever you need it. Try to use your front heel center to tap into those glutes more than the quads, the front of the thigh. Last set. In and out and out. Take a rest if you need it. Palms up. Open the chest. Pull the heart forward, so back of the heart pushing to the front of the heart. And then exhale, pull the front of the heart to the back of the heart. Spread those shoulder blades apart. Tuck the belly, or tuck the tail. Pull the pubic bone to navel. And then inhale when you're ready. Open. Exhale, pull it all in. 2 more times. It's like standing cat-cow. Oh, boy, my feet are really feeling it today. And then inhale back to center. We did it. Exhale. Rest in the center. So nice to do some standing work just to get like everything firing up. We are going to land now on to the hands and knees. Exhale or inhale, sweep your arms up. Now we'll swan dive and fold. So now we'll hip hinge. Hip hinging is very important too. Dropping the head. If you need to bend your knees lots, go for it. If you like to have your hands on the floor, that's great. Or you can bend your elbows, crossing your arms. Just take a few breaths here, stretching the back line of your spine using gravity. I like to think of the hips down like the trunk of a tree, so really rooting from the pelvis all the way beneath through the feet like roots. Relaxing the pelvic floor and forward folds, but you can engage your tummy. The pelvic floor, if you're tensing that while you're folding, you're just going to restrict your hinge. Beautiful. Releasing the arms. I'm changing. We're not going to come to hands and knees just yet. We're going to take one shin down. You're going to take a seat. So take a seat with your legs long in front. Make sure you have a nice spot to land. We're going to do some roll-ups. If you want to have a block in your hands, actually, let's just do it equipment-free, as I set us out to do anyways. Don't want to complicate things. All right, so we're going to grab the backs of the thighs, bend the knees, soles of the feet to the floor. I want you to think pelvis first. Exhale, scoop your lowest belly. So here's your lower abs. Heather. And then inhale, come up. So this isn't a heart-led thing. It's not a head-led thing. It's a gut-led thing. And inhale. It's proving to be really tough today. So think of your sit bones. You're up on top of your sit bones as much as you can sitting. And then as you curl your tail under like a monkey, you're going to roll off the backs of the sit bones to the tip of the tailbone and maybe your sacrum, depending on how low you can go. And then inhale back up. If you want, you can use your hands to help pull you up. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, coming back up. Another little trick is to take your hands, lift your elbows so they're not jammed into the side of you. Float your elbows up a little bit, collarbones wide. Push your hands into the sides of your thighs. And what that does is it connects the back body with the front. Really good habit to know in your body for a lot of Pilates moves. Let's do a couple more. These are called rollbacks. Inhale up. Now on the next one, exhale, we're going to roll all the way down and doing your best to have one vertebra at a time. Oh, I got some nice cracks in there. Slide your feet, heels a little closer to you, and let's find neutral pelvis lying down. So your tailbone is anchored. If you palpate with your hands, your pubic bone and the two front hip bones are trying to create a triangle that is parallel to the floor. So what I mean by that is your hip bones are not lower than your pubic bone, or your pubic bone is not lower than your hip bones. They're level. Imagine if you had a bowl of water, or your pelvis or your belly was filled with water. You're not letting the water come towards your chest, between your legs, or out the sides of your body. So that would be neutral. Soften through your front ribs. Some of us are going to be able to slide a whole hand under there. Some of us, a sheet of paper. So everybody's different, but that would be a neutral pelvis where you feel like those three bones are level with the floor. So from here, let's just do some rocks. We just did them seated. We call them rollbacks. Here are some just pelvic tilts. Tilting your pelvis so that your pubic bone ends up higher than your hips. For a lot of people that sit a lot, or even people that have back and hip problems, sometimes this alone changes people's lives. I'm breathing in through the nose, ribs wide to the side, exhale. Now we're going to do a bridge. So we're going to roll all the way up, one vertebra at a time. So eventually the butt has to kick in. As you dig your heels into the floor, you lift your hips up. Good. Open through your chest. Maybe lift the hips. Keep the hips high. And we're going to roll the spine down on an exhale. So as your hips stay lifted, soften through your chest, soften through your ribs, soften through your belly. You're using your abdominals to do that, so you got to work. And then land on your tail. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, roll, tilt, and roll the spine up. Inhale at the top. You can push your upper arm bones into the floor as well. And then exhale, keep your hips up as long as you can as you melt the heart and try to paint. Mine was a very crooked line back on a highway, but wherever your line is, try to paint a straight line. So just working with it wherever you're at today, accepting you as you are. So as you go on your own for a few more reps, notice that you inhale to prepare and exhale to move. So you use your abdominals to tilt the pelvis as much as you can. And then you use your hips, you're the back line of your leg, and your butt rather, to move you up the rest of the way. All right, holding it up there. We're going to do what's called marching. If you need to slide your hands a little wider for a greater base of support, that's great. Watch the chin tucking here. I have a bad habit of doing that. Lift your chin so it's parallel or level with the forehead. Now ground your left heel as you lift your right heel off the floor and then lower the heel down. Ground your right heel, lift your left heel off the floor and then lower back down. Keep going. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. So we're trying to keep the hips level, that they're not kind of dipping off to one side. Let's go for in and lower, in and lower. So we're alternating sides. Now, if you want, you can actually pick up the whole leg. So you bring your left knee over, right knee over your hip, and then lower toe ball heel. Lift your right knee and lower toe ball heel. Lift and lower. Again, if it's too much, just go back to those heel raises or take a rest. Forgot to do our footwork, very important. So we'll make sure we do footwork, especially moms coming back from childbirth. The feet connect with the pelvic floor. And so basically in my world, it's always a good time to be aware of your pelvic floor, whatever age, whatever stage you are. Inhale at the top and then exhale, lower back down. Let's take a little rest. You can grab a water break or drink if you like. Just hugging your knees in towards your chest. And then bring your legs together, nod the chin. Lift your forehead towards the knees. So you're stretching the back line of the spine. It's okay if your tailbone curls off. Really want to stretch everything back there. Good. Keep your head, neck, and chest lifted. If you need to put a block behind your head because the neck's starting to scream at you, go ahead, or a roller or whatever. We're just going to do alternating toe taps. So this is like single leg stretch, but a little modification. Remember to anchor the tailbone, get your pubic bone level with your hips. If you're feeling this in the lower back, then it's okay to tilt the pelvis so the low back is more imprinted on the floor. That's safer. And if you want, you can extend your one leg long. This is single leg stretch. One of the first of those 5 abdominal exercises kind of coined by Joseph Pilates. 3, 2, and 1. Hug both knees into the chest. Lower your head for a little rest. We're going to go through the 5 exercises. I'll break them down just a smidge because I'm not quite sure where we're all at. And I don't have my second laptop set up today. Actually couldn't find it. So I'm just going to make sure. If you do need to lower your head, you can. You can do it on a block, or you can even lower it all the way to the floor. The second exercise is called double leg stretch. So I'm going to do it with our arms staying still. So I want you to lift your head, neck, and chest again. Hands reaching towards your ankles. As you exhale, both legs are going to extend away from you. You're pushing your hands into the sides of your body. Lift your elbows. And then pull your knees towards your chest. Reach for your ankles again. Exhale, extend the legs. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the glutes. Inhale, pull the knees in. So think there's magnets in between your ankles, above your knees, below your pubic bone. And they're helping you along with your glutes as you extend those legs. So same thing with those arms, getting those armpit muscles to fire to support you. 2 more. You can always do 1 leg at a time if it's too much as well. A little late for that cue, but hey, lower your upper body. 3rd one, scissors. Lower your left foot, extend your right leg. Okay, you can bend your right knee if you have to, but we're working on that hamstring flexibility. So before we go into the actual exercise, let's just do a little prep. So you can stay here, or you can lift your head, slide your hands up your leg. We're going to stretch. You can slide your left leg long if you want. Try to plug your tailbone into the floor. Aim your right sit bone to the wall in front of you. But at the same time that you're aiming that sit bone, tuck the right sit bone under so you protect the joint. Don't worry if that didn't make sense today. Beautiful. Then bend the knee, slide both knees in, and switch sides. Lower your right foot, extend your left leg. You can stay here with your head down. Find that neutral pelvis. Just be aware. You can bend the left knee to find it. So you're aiming towards a straight left knee. Lift your head, maybe not today, and extend. Good. Hug both knees in. Lift your head, neck, and chest. Extend your legs up. We're going to lower one leg. You're pulling the legs in opposition. Switch like a scissor. Yeah, switch. So it's quick, slow. Quick, slow. Quick, slow. In, out. Bend your knees if you have to. Take a rest when necessary. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and rest. How'd that go? Woohoo! Thumbs up. Nice. Stretching the arms out into a T. What I see a lot is we will put our wrists higher than our shoulders. So make sure that your hands are almost even a little bit lower. And that'll allow you, again, to tap into your back muscles as you move into, because we're going to work the obliques. If you need to have your feet on the floor, that's a great option, a little easier. Lifting your heels is a little harder. Tabletop position is hardest. I like to have a block between my knees for this because my legs, they're getting better, but they don't, because I have less muscle, like mass these days. I'm not doing tons of weights. So my movement's a little better. Who knew, right? And so I like to have a block in between my knees, which I'm going to find. Maybe you're the same. Try it. It allows for the pelvis to stay a little more neutral as we draw the knees from side to side. So that's an option, not an order at all. I'm above my kneecaps with the block, arms stretched into a T. Line your chin and forehead up parallel to the floor. So you light up those inner lines, those inner thighs. And Heather, the inner thighs are connected with the lowest abs. All right, connected with the pelvic floor, with the feet. So we're going to, don't let me forget footwork. All right, inhale to prepare. I'll open across the chest. And then exhale, knees drift to one side. Keep both shoulders on the mat. We're going to move nice and slow through these today. They feel so good. And exhale to the other side. So in this case, our rib spine is still, but the lower half is moving from the navel down. Good. Keep pushing the arms into the floor as you need to. So if you're drifting to the right, come back, push your right arm into the center. Push your right arm into the floor to help your knees come back to center. Soft eyes. Relax the jaw. Nice. Beautiful. And if you want a tougher option, you could bring your legs straight. Do 2 more. And we'll finish off our little ab series with, I missed the lower lift, but that's okay, with some actual bicycles. This is where we move the upper body. So let's take our feet to the floor. If you still have your block, that's fine. Otherwise, squeeze your magnets together. And we're going to exhale, twist to your right. Right shoulder blade, right elbow lives on the floor. Left shoulder blade's lifting off the floor. I want you to connect with your lowest right ribs. They actually float. They're not connected to the spine. Push those bad boys into the floor to lift yourself up a little higher. And then inhale back to center. Twisting to left. Keep your tailbone anchored as you twist to the left. Left elbow, left shoulder blade on the mat. Lower left rib pushing into the floor to lift your opposite shoulder. And then inhale back to center. It's a lot of cueing, but keep your elbows open, keep your chest open. Exhale to the right. And what I like to do, or how I was taught, is we look where we're going towards. So we're going to look towards our elbow that we're twisting towards. What your eyes do, your spine follows. So if we start to look, the whole body is going to respond. Very, very intelligent we are. More than we know. Good. Good job, Rebecca, at keeping the pelvis nice and quiet. Good. You want to keep the tailbone anchored. Keep the pelvis on the mat. Perfect. A couple more times. Lovely. And rest. So we're going to do some side body, some back body, and hopefully nail some footwork. Let's just do a little bit because I probably will forget. So rock up or any way you want to come up is good. Assume you can see my feet. Now, if you have a really sticky mat, some of this is going to be tough. So I usually sometimes say go grab a pair of socks, but don't worry about it today. We're just going to start. I'm just going to face forward so you can see me a little bit. I'm kind of in that same position that I was before. If you need to lean back at any time, I mean, ultimately, try to hold on and sit up, but whatever you can do. All right? So we're just going to start by just flexing the ankles and pulling the toes towards the face. Usually footwork in Pilates is done to the beginning because it's the foundation. And in my prenatal program, there's a lot of footwork. And postnatal too, right? Beautiful. Oh, shins are burning. So those are the toes lifting up, firing up the front line of your shins. Now, lift your heels. Almost imagine like you are a ballerina. So you're wearing point shoes. You're coming right up onto the nails even if you can. the big toenail, if you have toenails, if you're lucky enough to have them. Okay, so we're lifting. Great. Now we're going to do, this is called pedaling. One foot flexes, so right toes draw towards your face, and one heel, the left heel lifts. And then you switch. So what I notice a lot is people are learning this, is they forget to lift their heel off the floor. They'll just point their toe and kind of not lift that heel as well. So really utilize your full mobility here. This is kind of the way we walk. So we're strengthening those metatarsals, like all in the calves and the toes. Metatarsals are like the toe joints, the toe bones, I should say. Pedaling, pedaling. When I was learning this, I could not talk. I could not carry on a conversation. All right, so that's pedaling. That's a really good one. Now, the second one we're going to do is imagining we're at the beach. So there's sand beneath the feet. Our heels are locked into the floor for some reason. And what we're going to do is keep the heels where they are and try to gather the sand towards the center line of us. So try your best to keep the knees still. So if the knees are kind of moving out and in, that means the hips are moving. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're trying to isolate the ankle, the shins. So this stuff would be, I can't see your feet, Rebecca, but footwork would be good for you right now? Yeah. Unless it's causing like ridiculous pain. Yeah. So as you, yeah, nice. So you're gathering. As your toes leave the floor, you spread them apart. And as they hit the sand, they curl under a little bit. So you get those toes involved. Now do the opposite. Take the sand that you kind of piled up in the center and push them away. So curl the toes as it lands on the floor and spread the toes as you lift them up. It's hard to keep the heels still, especially if the mat's sticky. So just work with whatever you got today. All right? Try to keep those knees still. And a lot of the time, sometimes it's what's going on in people's upper extremities, upper bodies. It can all be fixed in the feet. So you never know what's going to kind of bring your body back to where it needs to be. Whew, and then rest. Awesome. So we remembered our footwork. We're going to come onto the side. We're going to do a little bit in side body. So I've got my knees in front. They're bent. And my heels are living under my butt, under my sit bones. So heels, sit bones, and shoulders, one long line, and elbow. Top hand, let's bring the top hand to the bottom ribs. So I want you to get lazy and kind of shrug your bottom shoulder and let the ribs hang. And then do the opposite. Pull the ribs away and try to create that diagonal line between pubic bone, sternum, and nose. And then exhale, get lazy. Inhale, push the floor away. So this is just, you're hanging out at the beach, and then, I don't know who hangs out at the beach in a perfect side spine, but, all right? So just kind of know where you could be. Top hand now with a straight spine is going to come behind the head. And on an inhale, you're going to pick up your hips and hold for 3, 2, 1, and slowly lower back down. Relift for 3, 2, 1, nice, and lower. Last one. And lift. 3, 2, 1, and down. Perfect. Now we're going to add a rotation. If you need to have your bottom hip on the floor for this, that's fine. You're going to exhale. Your top ribs are chasing your bottom ribs around the world. Inhale, come back. Exhale, revolve. So my hips are down, but if you want, you can do this with hips up. Exhale for 5. Inhale up. Keep your hips stacked. As you rotate the ribs, I guess for you it would be counterclockwise if you're on your left elbow. And one more. Good. And lower. Let's slide our bottom arm Hopefully that's okay for your shoulder. You can bend your elbow, cradle the base of your skull. And keep your knees where they are. Just straighten your top leg. Now we're going to internally rotate. This is for your outer hips. Internally rotate so your toes are down, your heels up. And you're just going to lift and lower. Don't worry about your Pilates breath. Just don't hold your breath here. Knee over knee. Internal rotation of the hip. And then keep your internal rotation. Starts to circle the leg forward. Woo! And circle it back. Just so we don't run out of time, I'm just going to make sure we get some clams in there. So, again, heels underneath the sit bones, knee over knee. What you're going to do is open your top knee without rolling your pelvis back like that. You want to keep, almost imagine, you can even take your top hand, place it on the small of your back, and making sure that you're not rolling back into the hand. How you doing, Heather? So it's not much movement for me, especially on this side. It's external rotation with a stable pelvis. Now, if you feel like you want a little challenge, you can lift both heels off the floor. Do I see a little guy? I do. I still practice. The kids come in the morning when I do a little bit of yoga, just a little bit, whatever I can get in. 5 minutes. They love hanging out all over my bod. Okay, open. And then relax. Let's roll onto our back. Whatever leg you just kind of felt you worked, it goes on top. So we're going to do a reclining pigeon. You can level 1 or way 1. I hate thinking about levels, but press the top thigh away, or you can interlace your fingers around your right thigh, or sorry, whatever thigh, or in front of the shin. Okay, you don't want to get incredible amounts of sensation. You want to bring your stretch to the first point of tension and then just breathe from there. Because if I still am a bit of a sensation junkie. You know, I love to feel it, but that's not always a good thing. You might be the opposite of me. You might need to take it up a few notches. You're too gentle. It's too safe. So always look for that Goldilocks. Not too much, not too little, just right. All right, lift your head, rock up any way you want. Flip your legs to the other side. So now heels, sit bones, shoulders, and elbow is this straight line, kind of parallel to your mat. Pull the nose towards the back of the skull. Soften through the ribs, kind of let everything droop. Notice how your right shoulder, for most of us, shrugs. So this elevated shoulder, and then exhale, push the floor away as the shoulder drops and the spine kind of straightens out. Inhale, you can take your bottom hand to the ribs and almost pull it up away from the floor as a little bit of a tactile cue for yourself. You don't have to do that, but whoop, I like it. Something about it. And holding it up there. Top hand behind the head. We're going to pick up the hips this time. Pull the top elbow back, open the chest. And then pick up for 3 and hold. 2, 1, and lower. And relift for 3, 2, 1, and lower. And last one, 3, 2, 1, and lower. All right. Did we hold it up? Oh, yes, rotation. So rotation is a good way to keep your hips stacked when the bottom hip's on the floor. But if you want that challenge, lift the hips. As you rotate, keep pulling your top hip back so that it doesn't rotate with you, with your ribs, I mean. And last one or so. Amazing. All right, lowering all the way down, sliding the arm, bending the elbow, bottom elbow. Straighten your top leg, internally rotate your top hip, and then lift and lower, knee over knee. Good. I like to do these with weights or resistance bands, but honestly, these are supportive muscles, so they don't need to be like, you don't need to weight train these things. And circle, circle forward. And when you're ready, switch directions. And we did some clamps today. So pause, bend the knees. Now this side might have more or less of a outer hip rotation. This one's got more range for me. Just check in where you're at. You can place that top hand on the back of the sacrum. Yeah. And if you want to challenge, pause, knees together, heels lift up. So the inner edges of your feet are like the joint in the clam. That's it. Nice, ladies. Keep going. Couple more. Hi, buddy. Hi. And one. Good. And then rest. So lying on your back one more time. We've got just enough time. Perfect to do some back work. Crossing the ankle, grabbing whatever, the thigh, the front of the shin. Nice deep breaths. Relax the face. Beautiful. When you're ready, lower the legs, untwist, and just rest on your back for a moment. If you want to even stretch your legs long, just allowing all that you've done for your body thus far in your mind, just let it integrate. Do a little for the back here. Anyway, you can always roll over into fetal and come up. And land on your hands and knees. Okay? Wrists under shoulders. So this is where, Rebecca, you might feel no pain. You don't want to compress the wrist though. So I would fold my mat up any number of times, depending on the thickness. I'd elevate my wrists higher than my knuckles or my fingers. And the other thing you could do is you can make fists, palms that face each other. That's a very neutral wrist. We're not going to load this too much. It shouldn't be too bad. And then the other option, what would I do? I just walk the hands forward a little bit instead of having them dump the body weight up into the hands. So have more weight into the knees. So we're just going to do a couple cat-cows here. Inhale, flip the cat. Exhale, cat stretch, doming the back. And then come back to where your neutral is, where you think it is. This is where, at least in the sacrum, you can balance a beverage right back here. So we're going to try to keep that drink balanced. You can pick what type of beverage you like. I'm in the midst of trying a quick coffee, so it's like a mushroom elixir. I don't know if it's going to cut it, but we'll see. So you're going to slide your right leg back and left fingers forward. Then pick up the arm and the leg. Tap them down and slide them back underneath. Then we're going to switch. Shift the body weight, slide your left leg, right fingers forward, and then pick it up. Tap, bend the knee, I should say, back to center. So we're switching. Lift, tap, and under. Reach, pick it up, tap, and under. Keep going. So is this okay for you, Rebecca? Oh, good. Okay, nice. Very nice. Good. And Heather, just thinking about keeping both hip bones shining to the floor. Yes. So you can lift the leg as much as you want as long as the pelvis, you don't arch the back. We're trying to balance that beverage. Very good. Maybe make yourself even here. And one more. So that was with a straight spine, working kind of the back line of the body. Let's pop down to the elbows. Slide your knees out behind you. And try to ground your pubic bone. So like Sphinx. Not like Sphinx, it is Sphinx. Legs might want to be a little bit wider than the hips. Elbows, wrists, shoulders parallel. So the pubic bone's anchored. You want to think of almost pressing your elbows into the floor and pulling them back towards your hips. It's almost like you want to drag your body forward, but you can't because your mat's sticky. It's really nice opening for the low abs, decompression for the back. And we're holding extension in the spine. Now what we're going to do next is little kicks with the legs. So I'm going to double kick one leg and then straighten it back out and then switch. Kick, kick, and straight. Kick, kick. As I bend the knee, I'm flexing the ankle. So kick, kick with a flexed ankle. Kick, kick. So this kind of pulsing, or it almost looks ballistic, but it's not. It's controlled. It tries to mess up your nice extended spine, but you don't let it. Keep pushing your elbows down, drawing them back towards your hips. Breathing is inhale, inhale, exhale to lower. I forgot to mention, if it's a little too high for you, you can always widen the elbows or slide your elbows more over your head, away from your hips, sorry. Good. And then let's come all the way down. You're going to widen your elbows, hand over hand, forehead resting on those hands. Take a nap. Do one more exercise here. Plant your pelvis down, pull your navel away from the earth. You're just going to inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest. You don't want to compress the neck, so keep the neck long. Don't worry about back bending it too much. And then pick up your arms to meet your forehead. Hands meet the forehead. And then lower everything. So we go inhale, head and neck and chest. Inhale, lift the arms. And then exhale, lower it all. So we go inhale, inhale, exhale. So if you can hear me, I'm doing that kind of sniffing to clear out the sinuses, even though they're already clear by now, and also exercise those lungs with those little puffs. Two more. And last one. And out. Let's keep our head down on those hands. We're going to flutter kick the legs. Knees are straight. Move from your hips. Your glutes, glutes, glutes all the way. In 2, 3, 4, 5, and X. 2, 3, 4, 5. In 2, 3, 4. Just like those hundreds. We did the pumps with the arms. We're doing that in the 5 beats with the breath. And the legs. And then rest the legs. Now we'll do this last exercise. We'll do the same. We'll use the legs, but instead of up and down, we're going to go in and out. So in 2, 3, 4, 5, and X. 2. Think about inner thighs, just below those pubic bones. Every exhalation, kind of reminding yourself to pull the navel away from the earth rather than press it into the floor. And last one. And rest. Beautiful. Bend the knees to 90 degrees. Gently windshield wiper from side to side. Your feet, I mean. And we'll finish off by pushing ourselves up and back into a child's pose. Slide your hands behind your shoulders, along the sides of your ribs. Hug your arms in. A little easier way to get up, I find, is pick your hips up and then press up and back. Sit the hips towards those heels. Take a very well-deserved stretch. Good. slide your hands over your head even more for downward dog. So you're going to lift your hips forward, lift them off the heels, tuck your toes, and just hang out for your first upside down V. At least it is for me for today. Press your chest towards your thighs. Press your hands, the heels of the hands, the knuckles, and the fingers back or down and forward into the mat. Good. And then come back down onto your knees. So walk your hands back. This, careful, your plantar fasciitis should be okay, actually. But this, sometimes what can be pulling is, like for you, it's definitely the arches in the feet, Rebecca. But sometimes the soleus muscle, the lower calf, can get really tight. So this is one way. You got to stretch it with a bent knee. It's kind of a squat with child's pose. And we're going to finish off. Lean into those hands. Ragdoll position. Bent knees are straight. Good. And then slowly roll up to stand. Push the floor away to get there. Just restack nice and easy. If you get to the top before me, you can roll your shoulders up and back. Oh, the sun came out for us. And just re-land. Check in. Do that body scan again. Scan all the parts of you, accepting every little bit. Just taking a few more breaths here in your strength, perhaps in your gratitude. Giving thanks for the gift of your body, for the gift to practice today, for the gift of friends, family, kitty cats, meow, and anything else you're grateful for. Beautiful. Let's seal our practice. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Maybe reach up, lift the heels, stretch, 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 stretch. And then exhale, land the feet. Good. Take a little bow or curtsy. And I'm so glad you gals came out. Amazing job. And for those, the rest of you, we'll see you really soon. Bye.